Talk, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m.
That was fun. Does it always play that long?
If we do it right.
Oh, we did it right today. Good
Yes.
morning. Welcome.
Fun fact, if we don't have headphones on, we don't hear our intro music. Today, we have headphones on, and we heard it, and we enjoyed it, and we hope you enjoy it too.
We've got some great clips coming up today.
Dude.
We're prepped. We're ready.
We have a podcast for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. We have a ton we're going to go over. Obviously, recap the mayor race a little bit to start. Then we're going to fall into
something. Buddy, I see that you voted today.
I voted today?
Well, your computer says you voted.
Oh, it does. Yeah, that's right. I got a sticker still. Stuck it on there Tuesday. It's not coming off now.
That was a mistake. But yeah, hey, Miranda, we got some good clips from commission.
Yeah, Jonathan was doing some digging.
We got Dakota stickers on the way, though.
Hey, that's
I
awesome.
was coming off the high of the election night, and I was like, we're ordering Dakota stickers. I think it's 100 of them on the way. So if you want a Dakota sticker, it's small. You can throw it on your water bottle, throw it on your computer. You could throw it on your car. It'll probably be hard to see, but should be weatherproof. Yeah, if you want a sticker, let me know. We'll get you a sticker.
I'll have one right on this side.
We'll have one. I've always wanted to put one right here.
Oh, heck yeah. It's a little controller thingy.
Yes, need one right there. All right, so good show today. First off, we're going to throw it back to something that happened on Tuesday.
There was a lot that happened on Tuesday.
Right, but there was something specific that deserves being seen again. Okay? Do you know what it is?
I got a feeling it's
you have a feeling?
You putting a pie in my face. I hope we get to see the clip of you getting water dumped on you.
We'll do it the right way. We'll start in order. Okay, but it deserves to be seen.
Well, we made it outside. It's Kyler Collom here with Jonathan Starr. We've got a bucket full of water. The ice is
made
melted.
It outside.
But, Jonathan, you ready?
No.
You want me to do it front or back?
I want you to miss me.
To miss you? Well, that ain't happening, Chief. Sorry. Well, we're going to go three.
Don't count it down.
Okay.
I might move.
He tried to move.
That was cold, man. That was cold.
Oh, I bet it does.
Still, as we mentioned the other day, we don't even know why we had to do these, but we did. And so now here's the good clip.
Of course. That it has to go both ways this time. We really hope it's all within frame. We forget why we're doing this, but evidently we said some stupid stuff while we were talking one day, and there wasn't enough voter turnout, and I don't know why I had to go. I don't know.
We bet on something or something.
Yeah. So you want to take a step towards me?
Of course.
Sorry. So I don't really want to step in water without shoes
That's
on.
fair. You got the socks.
Nonetheless,
I get the whipped cream pie in the face.
You get a whipped cream pie? You excited?
Let's do it.
Do you enjoy whipped cream pie?
Not really anymore. When I was like a child, I did.
What's your favorite part about whipped cream?
I was a child.
On pumpkin pie?
Yeah,
Poor
of
guy
course.
walking.
Do you like? Have you had pumpkin
pie?
roll?
Oh, that's gross.
So gross.
It's
There you
disgusting.
go.
That's good.
Here you go.
Wonderful. All right, that our debt that we owed to the Minot community has been paid.
Yes. Again, what it was repayment for
We
is
have no idea.
It's something.
It was something. It was something to do with that June election.
Yes.
Did not work out right, but this last one did.
It did.
There was a lot of people that showed up.
Yes. In Minot's context, yes. And again, there's one thing to be said with the macro of it all, where, you know, a city of 45,000 having a, 15% turnout, rough estimate number, is not a great thing. However,
You're going to offend some people by saying we're only a city of 45,000. But anyways.
I'm throwing all just rough numbers out here. But however, Minot, in the context of Minot, this is the best mayoral election turnout we've had since 2018. So
That deserves.
in an August special election in an off election year, it was a fantastic turnout.
It was a fantastic turnout. And so we're going to break down that timeline for us, what it looks like going forward. But we did want to show some numbers. We showed this on Tuesday's podcast, but did want to show some numbers. Sorry. We have some background noise for our numbers. Nobody wants to hear me talking twice.
We
so
forget why we're
we'll
doing
fix
this.
that. But anyways,
go.
these are our polling numbers that we had coming out of the voting center.
Yeah, us doing some exit polls. Stood outside for about 2 hours from about 1:30 to 3:30.
178 people participated.
It was fantastic turnout in that regard as well. And looked, we had Janser a little over 42%, Pittner at 28%, Fuller at about 22%, and Royce at about 6.5%, with 1.1% for other. And you flip that into the real results, And you have Janser coming in at 42.6%, Fuller coming in at 26%, and then Pittner coming in at about 25%, with Royce at about 6%, and 0.2% for write-in candidates. So there was 13 total write-in candidates.
Yeah.
And
you think your name was on one of them?
I doubt it. I can't imagine it would be.
Thank
you if so, but I didn't write myself in.
Yeah, that's good.
Looking at it though, I think there's a couple things that we can take away from this. One, Fuller overperformed the exit poll by quite a fair margin compared to anyone else.
5%.
He picked up, I think, later in the afternoon than compared to other candidates.
Do you think he picked up
based on this?
Do you think he picked up later in the afternoon, or do you think he had more early votes?
I'm going with later in the afternoon.
Okay.
That's what it feels like to me. That's gut feeling. Can't prove that, but I'm saying that's what I'm rolling with. You look at the Janser and Royce numbers, however, they're both within 1% of what it actually turned out. So I think that's where it kind of shows this is actually worth doing. It can be predictive in some regards. Again, take it all with a grain of salt, but you end up looking at the final numbers, and these graphs aren't that far apart from each other.
Do you have a grain of salt I can take?
Not on me.
Okay, good question. All right, yeah, very interesting polling data. If life continues to go well, we'll continue to have polling data.
You're darn right.
It's going to be a good time.
Next year, it'll be wild with all the other state stuff. Try to do that.
What was crazy was how many things went on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
You had an election going on. You had the night in the park.
Yeah.
Which
sounds
looked like
a fun time.
Yeah, it looks like it was an incredible turnout. A lot of fun there. You had the dinner on the prairie, whatever the actual name of that is called, where the chamber EDC does a whatever it's called.
I did see
night
that.
out on the prairie, something like that. The chamber EDC does that where they go and they have North Dakota food out on the prairie, kind of a neat night.
Tuesday was busy.
It was a busy day,
Something
and
else
there was the election. So let's break down what our thoughts are on this election. Give the people what they want. First off, Janser, this is some people. I mean, he's the $15,000 mayor, right? This was somebody that was going to be mayor already. Yeah. Then there was a bunch of a petition that was turned in, and so then we had to vote about it. The people said, no, let's have Janser be the guy, and so now he's going to finish out the 10 months. It's when you go and you put it in perspective like that, it's really annoying. Something where we could just have this done several months ago. Although if it was just voted on by council, I think there would have been unease about that. Still, people would have been like, yeah, not my mayor kind of deal going about.
Yeah.
So now that all that's put aside.
Yep.
We have the guy in place. He's good to go. One thing that we talked about on Tuesday that I think is still a concern to me is going to be the tensions on council going forward.
100%.
Whether it's about the mayor race or not, I think we're going to enter a new phase on council where I really just don't care. That's going to be it's just going to be very raw. It's going to be true feelings are going to be out there.
Letting it all rip at that point.
And it's going to be an interesting budget season. That'll be where it's the most impactful. It's going to be the budget season. It's going to be an interesting time as we work through this, which is really important that they get the 7th member on council to help with that. And we're going to lay out that timeline for you in a minute. But your thoughts on your new mayor?
Well, again, I think you made a great point when you said that this is something that could have just happened in April had the election not been called, but it was. And so we got a very turbulent summer from it. A lot of events that ended up becoming realities because of this. But Janser's the mayor. He is going to be the, quote, steady hand to lead Minot throughout the rest of this budget season into next year, when, again, we have the full 4-term mayoral race that'll go on.
Yeah. So Minot Daily did a article on this, kind of profiling some of the other candidates and what their feelings were on this, which is a great article there. Pittner said, welcome the election of Janser and indicated his support in 2026. I will 100% support and throw any support I can behind Mark Janser. That doesn't necessarily clarify whether or not Pittner is going to run in 2026.
Yeah,
but
either way. Yeah.
Yeah. Personally, I think I'd be surprised at this point. He's already in his concession. He said, we have one more year of him. But he also said something like, "I'll be back" or something like that. So I don't know what
like
that
never,
meant.
it was like a never count me out kind of
Yeah,
thing.
right.
So I wouldn't rule anything out.
I wouldn't rule it out, but I still would be a little bit surprised if he just run for mayor.
Yeah, for sure on that. I agree.
According to the article by the Minot Daily, Fuller said he expects to run against next. Sorry.
He plans to run again next year.
See, even you
I know,
struggled
I
to
did
say it.
too. But no, expect Rob Fuller to be running again for mayor next year, it sounds like, in 2026 as well. And also Josiah Royce. To be running.
Josiah Royce. He's going to be running. And this was the most exciting part of this whole article.
Yeah.
All right. Royce said he plans to bring legal action for defamation regarding statements made about him during the campaign. He declined to disclose the defendants. I mean, come on, three of the same letter in the same sentence. I mean, these sentences are hard to read. It's really my own problem. But there was an issue during the campaign regarding information circulating in the community on his stance on lowering the age of consent. Royce has said he does not support a law change, and the issue is never mentioned by him in his campaign. He noted the matter is a legislative issue rather than an issue the mayor can address. Royce also challenged the integrity of the mayoral election. "We don't have a way to recount," this is a quote, "we don't have a way to recount or see the ballots. I don't think there's any way that these results are accurate. And I actually anticipated as much, which is why months ago at city council meetings, I was asking that the council for this special election motion that this be a paper ballot only, no machines." I remember when that happened.
I do too.
It seems like this is 2020 vision, but it seems like either we said on a podcast or we had in our own talks, like this is setting up for him to be able to say, "Hey, we didn't do that."
Yeah. I remember that for a fact. And again, I don't know where we said it at. We might not have actually dropped that on the podcast, but
Right.
I definitely know that
was talked about between us. Although election officials have indicated voting machines are secure, Royce argued that they have been proven to be fraudulent and easy to rig.
Okay.
He quoted, "I believe it's intentional," he said, in alleging fraud in the mayoral election. However, he declined to make allegations against any individuals at this time. There you go, man. There you go.
Okay, so first off, Minot, Ward County does use paper ballots. If you remember, when you filled out that ballot, it was on paper, and you had to fill it in a little circle. It's on paper. And then you hand that paper into a machine. So granted, there is a machine that tabulates those. However, if there was this was actually close enough to do anything,
riled up.
you could challenge that, and you could call for a hand count election. However,
this is the part that's going to get you.
when you're off by 2,000 total votes, yes, it's not quite in the recount area. Like even between Rob and Paul in that second and third spot with 32 votes separating them, there's still a 900 vote difference from the first place spot, and they're not calling for any sort of anything like this. And yet here we have potential accusations, and I don't know. He believes it's intentional, and again, isn't naming anyone specifically. So
that's good.
Is it the machines themselves that are just doing this intentionally? Is it someone at the county? Miranda, sorry, if it's someone at the county, or Marissa Heyman, like I can't imagine. No, I'm not saying that. No, I know. This isn't. It's ridiculous. I'm done. Jonathan, your take?
Kyler's gonna have to walk off set here.
This is gonna be you in like 20 minutes here, dude.
He thinks I'm gonna get riled up today. I know. What a guy. So I think that, well, I just kind of go back to what you said. If there was an attempt, say he got enough votes to win, and someone's like, "All right, we don't want him to be elected. Let's mess it up." So they removed 2,700 votes. Mm-hmm. No. That he would have lost by like 5%.
Yeah.
Right out of recount area, but still
Within
enough to
range.
maybe he showed that he was close or something.
And I want to follow this up too with the exit polls we conducted.
Yeah.
First off, we did this because we felt like it. I think it's fun because I'm weird. Jonathan wanted to help me to get it done. That's the whole reason we did the exit poll. So we went out.
Kyler, happy life.
We went out there and stood for 2 hours just asking people if they'd take our poll, and 178 gracious people took the poll.
We appreciate it.
Every single one of you. And guess what? It came out to Josiah ending up with 6.7%.
Which followed your poll pretty close
similar
follow
to the poll back in, what was it, June or whatever, where he had like 9%. And so now you look at it, and here we're sitting around the same. It's within 1% of the exit poll compared to the reality of it. I don't think there's any correlation there.
No, like, is there possible? And I know this is like just a very slim margin that we're talking about.
Technically not a non-zero thing.
Is there a possibility that like a computer malfunctioned, something like that? Yes. Is it first off, there's a ton of testing that they've done beforehand. They've tried to make sure that this is as good to go as possible, right? So this isn't just people flying by the seat of their pants. Not possible that it would be 2,000, or very unlikely that it'd be 2,000 votes off.
Yeah.
In the comments, Zach Rack, Josiah is being ridiculous. I've lost my share of elections. Absolutely wild. I think it's because of tabulators. We may be looking at future where taxpayer funds are spent to hand count all, referring to all ballots, just to shut down all this nonsense. Yes, we could be looking at that, and I think that is
that's a waste of time.
We got to be careful there.
If you're doing it in literally something like this with a special election, I guess you could make a room for it. But if you're trying to hand count every ballot that happens in like a general election,
right,
that's ridiculous.
And then you have the check on the total ballots. Miranda Schuler, those totals would actually indicate more ballots cast than they were actually printed. Also, that's a really good point. Yeah, is they literally manage like on the clip that we did with Marissa, she said that she dropped off 2,500 ballots, was hoping that would get them through lunch. Mm-hmm. In her optimism, would have got her just past lunch, but they literally are managing how many ballots that they have at the center. Exactly. So there's a system of checks and balances that they have to keep this secure.
Yeah.
That
was fun to see in the mind.
That was fun to see. Kyla loved it. All right, so where do we go from here now?
Did we have any other?
No. I'm saying for the city, we have a new mayor in place.
City council has to face an appointment now.
Yes,
and
so we're under the understanding that the mayor gets officially put in beginning of September, right?
No, I believe the city of Minot posted on their Facebook page that he will be sworn in on the 18th.
Okay, so that gives room then for there to be
a special election.
I counted it out yesterday, and that would have an earlier special election date than you mentioned on the podcast on Tuesday. That would mean that it could happen before Christmas.
So September 2nd is the deadline for a petition to be turned in. 297 signatures is all you need.
Less.
292?
Less than they needed for the other, or I guess last time there was just 500 turned in. It was just an overabundance.
They got enough. Yeah.
Yep, my bad. So yeah, there's an opportunity. I'll say this on a personal level, me speaking, don't even try, please. Don't even try. Just let city council get this person in place. Their term does expire at the next election, June election, because there's going to be replacing Mark Janser, and Mark Janser's term was set to expire.
Yep.
So don't even collect the signatures.
No
don't do it. Please don't do it.
This will be it's impractical. It will take more money from a budget that's already
$15,000.
It's we'll have to do something about
it. And not only that, like it's going to take $15,000 from the budget. It's going to put maybe if somebody decides that they want to run and have an election in December, it's going to take the money it costs for a campaign, $3,000 to $10,000 at least. That's a very wide range. Could be more depending on how heated. So a bunch of money that's being spent unnecessarily that's going to need to be respent next
June anyways.
Yeah, April, May, June.
Yeah.
So it really is unproductive for this. Just go and allow, I hope the city council opens up for applications.
Sure.
And if you want to have a vote of some type, once those applications get online, we can go and we can conduct a vote.
Yeah, why not?
On our website.
Sure.
And you can vote there.
I'll do polling for who Minot would prefer.
If there was some unofficial way, and I know that they couldn't actually base their decision fully, but you know how the NBA does all-star voting? If we had a system like that, where the people of Minot could vote like they do.
Just tweet in for who gets it. That'd be a mess. You get so
yeah.
It'd be like 40,000 votes or something ridiculous.
Yeah, but it would be awesome, and more people would vote probably.
Yeah.
Miranda Schuler reiterates the cost for a special election is $15,000 to $20,000.
Yeah.
So she says if you're approached to sign a petition. Just remember that at the top of that petition, just say, if you sign this, you may be costing the city 15 to 20K. That's a huge problem. And Ward County knows best.
Yeah.
As budget season is in full swing, and it's an almost impossibility to balance a budget with the rules that we
see in place.
We're having. So
the heavy hand of the state coming in to affect local municipalities here.
Yeah, absolutely. So if there's going to be a special election, just how that process plays out, there'll be the 15 days. You mentioned that in September 2. If we had enough signatures, then that's going to be mid-December where candidates will have 30 days. Well, basically the way that it works is it's like 95 days that the earliest date of election can be held. And then once you hit 95 days, then candidates can begin collecting signatures for 30 days.
Yeah.
After that, then you wait your 65 remaining days. You have your election. We have a new council member. That's how that process would lay out. It would finish sometime mid-December. The other process is simply council cannot. They can't appoint somebody from council because it's not the mayor position. Mm-hmm. They're obviously needing another person. So that's why the application is the process that would be best.
I think there is technically a way where they could just appoint someone unanimously, but I really don't know if that's the best image.
I don't think they would do that.
No, I think the application process is the best move.
Right. Yeah. I was comparing it to the other one where they appointed someone from council. Obviously that's not an option on this one.
Yeah. Because what initially happened after Ross became mayor in 2022 to fill out his thing is they just appointed, I think it was Roscoe Striley to take over that
but role. He was an applicant.
No, yeah, you're right. He was an applicant. You're right. That they took the applications for that, and then that fall was the election. You're right. Never mind. Moving on. Do you have any final things to mention on the council appointment? I think we kind of covered that at this point.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty well covered. That's where we stand as a city.
Yeah, there is a potential for a petition to go and take place, and it has to be turned in by the 2nd of September.
Yep, absolutely. We'll be working on getting Mayor Mark Janser on in the next week or so to sit down and see where he sees the city going from here. Obviously not talking about the appointment because that's something that council is going to decide, but just from a leadership standpoint, next 10 months are going to be important as we go out and look for a new city manager.
Yeah, and getting through the budget process here, getting through the rest of the fall and getting something approved because there's going to be a lot more iterations to come from the city. You're going to have Lisa Olson's going to present her budget on the 18th, and then there's going to be amendments started to be made following that going into September and October, and it's interesting to see what's going to come of it.
So what happens if there is not a 7th person appointed? Do you think the budget basically just stays as is?
No, it'll get something will get passed.
Something will happen.
Yeah,
there won't be that many 3-3 votes.
There will be, but something will eventually come.
I mean, the budget will get passed. They'll have to pass the budget. But what I'm saying is, will there be that many amendments passed?
Probably not. Actually.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I wonder. Yeah, will they adopt the preliminary one, or will they adopt the council president's one to start off of it as their baseline kind of thing?
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I would imagine they'd go with the prelim. I've heard fly on the wall, there's already been changes made to the prelim. Mm-hmm. The big deal was how the city had found a way to get around the cap by including their debt, and after discussions, perhaps that is being taken out. I don't know that for sure, but I've heard that they've been looking at that.
My whole thought is, say any municipality does exceed, or any administration does exceed that 3% cap. What's the state do?
They have to send in their budget, so it just wouldn't be approved. It wouldn't be accepted.
Just allow it. Okay,
that's what I would be my guess.
I think with the state treasurer or auditor at that point. Okay.
County, and then like there's checks on everything.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But, okay, so
speaking of,
well, we're gonna go to a quick break before we go to Ward County budget, and we're gonna spend some time on the Ward County budget.
Yeah.
But there's supposed to be some thunderstorms tonight, buddy.
I know. It's a possibility. It could be a little. I think it might start raining this mornings too. It's got a chance of rain all day.
Yeah.
So some severe weather is in the forecast for potentially tonight or into tomorrow as well, though. We're gonna do some.
So we thought about
storm chasing.
We thought about that we could do a weather like a live stream, try to follow what 106.3 6.9 does, because they track these storms. And so basically what it would look like if we did it is we'd go sit in our backyard. Just be like, yeah, it's raining, guys.
Yeah.
Watch out.
He lives on the northwest side of town.
Yeah.
I'm on the southeast side of town.
We'd have both sides of town
We
covered.
got it covered here.
Yep. It's raining. No, that was hail. That was hail.
Yeah. It's hailing where he's at, but where I'm at, it's just pouring.
It looks like there may be a tornado coming.
I don't know. I can't really see.
Yep. That is a tornado.
Just wind shear, 120 mile an hour wind shear coming down.
We won't be doing that. We will leave that to 106.9. If you want to follow the weather, go over there. They are doing a great job for that.
Yep.
We're going to take a 60-second break. We'll be back to talk Ward County Commission.
In the demanding world of oil and gas, precision, safety, and efficiency are non-negotiable. Unmanned operator drone services revolutionizes how you monitor, inspect, and manage your operations. With cutting-edge technology and expert operators, we deliver real-time data, detailed reports, and actionable insights for our valuable clients. Why risk the safety of your team or waste precious time? Our drones access even the most challenging areas with ease, reducing downtime and enhancing safety across your sites. We take the guesswork out of your projects by offering LiDAR, mapping, and inspection services so that your projects stay safe, on budget, and on time. Unmanned operator drone services, where technology meets safety, precision, and efficiency.
We're back. Thanks for the unmanned operator. Guess what? Guess who I saw today?
Him?
No, I saw a North American Iron, though.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw a North American Iron car.
interesting.
Yeah, we won't jump into that, but saw a North American Iron car today.
Things going on there.
Guy in a suit,
Interesting.
another guy.
Couple people meeting. Who knows?
Perhaps.
That's interesting. I'll have
It
to look
is
into
interesting.
that maybe.
Maybe we should. But we did look into the Ward County Commission last night.
Yeah.
Sorry, not last night. I looked into it last night. Their meeting was held on Tuesday
Tuesday
morning at 9 a.m. at the Ward County building. We actually got Marissa Heyman before she went over there. And first off, she does so much work over there.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Like the more you find, or the more you look, the more you turn out that she is the workhorse of the county commission.
Yeah, she is.
Like,
So,
the
well,
roles
they all do a lot of work.
No,
but
no, excuse me, of the county
of the,
administration.
of the county administration.
Yes.
Yeah, she does a lot of work as far as being the liaison there. But county commission, they're working on a budget just like every other municipality right now.
Mm-hmm. And they are hamstrung right now because of the state.
Because of the state.
Just jumping.
Like right into the weeds there.
Yeah.
The deal with the county commission is they've been financially, fiscally conservative for a bit.
Yeah.
Perhaps there's areas, because in any organization, there's probably an area that you can cut back in.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps there's some place that they can cut back in.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a difficult thing when you've been, like, they don't have a lot of reserves intentionally.
Yeah.
Not because they have misplaced money or anything like that. It's just they try to keep the reserves low. It's the people's money. Keep it in the people's pocket, not in the county's pocket. And their budget is fairly, they go and they help out a few nonprofits, etc., that ask for the money. First District Health,
that's one of the big ones.
Dakota State Fair, those different things. They go and they put money there. But generally speaking, they keep a very, very fair budget that's going on there.
It ends up typically ending out pretty even.
Yeah, it's gone up. I believe the last time their mills went up a little bit. But
I guess at the end of the year, it normally turns into roughly a balanced budget.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's not a bunch of excess in it.
Yeah.
And that's contrary to what the city's been seeing.
Mm-hmm.
The city's been seeing where they have, even, last year they go and they have a substantially lower mill levy.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that was because of the buy down they did from the excess money that was in their budget.
Already in the reserves.
That they're like, not just already in the reserves. It was in that year's budget that was going to go to reserves, and rather than putting them in reserves, they're like, we'll just put this onto the next budget.
Yep.
And even after doing that, there's still going to be excess money in a budget.
Yeah. And
that being said, the state gets involved, and the state knows best.
Yes.
Because the state's view in this is that, like, they view that they're mom and dad in this situation. They feel like the cities are the kids and they're mom and dad, and they get to tell those kids what to do.
Mm-hmm. And how to spend their money.
And I'm not just coming up with that analogy.
And how to collect their money.
That's what I've heard from people. And so Yeah, they're telling him you cannot spend more. You cannot increase by more than 3%. And that's crazy because who doesn't want more than a 3% raise?
Hold on, is it August right now or is it March again? I forget. I feel like we've had this conversation when they were bringing this to the table. And now here we are finally seeing it start to come into effect. And look at what's happening. You're starting to see the hamstring effect of the state forcing places, municipalities and administrations to lower and restrict their own budgetary expenses.
Basically what's going to happen is the primary homeowners of North Dakota are going to be happy. They're going to get a $1,600
congratulations
credit, and their tax bill will not go up by more than 3%. Of course, they won't even see that part because of the credit. So it's going to be very much lower than it was in past years. Mm-hmm. But here's the problem to that, and I exaggerate here. This, to be clear, is tongue in cheek. You may not have a fire department, but you will have a lower tax bill.
Yep.
That's not true. You're going to continue to have a fire department.
Of course.
People are going to fight to have that. The point is this. The budgets are at the point where they're like, we have to cut services in order to be under a 3% cap. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that Measure 4 was the way to go about it. Okay. To be clear, because I know that there's a lot of talk about Measure 4 right now. And this is, we heard at City Council on Monday that this is essentially a way of Measure 4 being implemented. Wrong. Mm-hmm. Because what Measure 4 did is for everybody, it wiped out property taxes and told all the taxing authorities, hey, figure out a different way to tax. Mm-hmm. So if you had no property taxes, but you're having to pay for a city service that you normally don't have to pay for, or a county service that you don't normally have to pay for, you're like, okay, there's a give and take here.
Yeah.
You can at least see that. And I'm not saying that that's the better option to go about, but you get a Band-Aid on your property tax bill. Mm-hmm. The taxing authority cannot increase taxes to cover the services. And so you may get a Band-Aid on your property tax bill, and they may have to, in future years, figure out a way to start charging for services that just typically were included in your property tax.
And because you're still paying those property taxes, if you start to see special assessments come in, or
you're going to be upset,
or a raise in your sales tax, guess what? You're going to be mad. You're going to be teed off about it.
And with that, you're going to vote against it probably because you don't want more taxes.
Exactly.
It's like the immediate effects of this is terrible. One of the conversations that the Ward County Commission had is like, hey, is there a way for us to increase revenues? Roll the clip.
What other options do you have for revenue? Do you have any opportunities to increase revenue here? Because it looks like revenue is decreasing. It looks like it's down about $300,000.
All right. So the first thing that they're looking at, and it's a great question, they're asked by friend of the show, Miranda Schuler, Ward County Commissioner, Miranda Schuler. Are we able to increase revenue somewhere else?
Yeah.
And that's a great first place to look when you're in this kind of bind. But they're also, for the county, it puts them into a bind because they're like, we could go and try to do this, but we have to remember that it's the next person's budget that we're messing with. Mm-hmm. And they're also in the same position that we are. So they can't afford to necessarily, maybe in some situations it makes sense, but send their inmates over to the Ward County because they have to pay for that now.
Yeah. Like you can't just shift inmates around to a different county or a different municipality, whatever it might be, because they still have to be paid for from that county.
Yeah, so they'd have to completely, maybe not, but in theory they'd have to completely shut down their facility in order for this to actually make any sense. So they're cutting services. Yeah. So no matter what, there's going to be a trickle down effect.
It's across the board.
It is across the board. And Miranda Schuler says, I envision the legislature addressing some of the unintended consequences in future sessions. I agree. I think it's going to be addressed. And I have a couple more clips that we're going to play, but I'll say this. I think it was the legislators, they proved something that has been said about Bismarck, but by their actions here, they proved that they truly, and maybe it's not all of them, but there's for sure some of them, do not truly care about what they do and how it affects the people. They don't.
I agree. Yeah.
When you go, and this is the contrast that I have. The contrast that I have is whether you like term limits or not, it passed. It passed by the people. And they go and they say, well, we're going to go and send this back to the people to vote. So that way we can get this combined, because it's basically the same thing. No, it's not basically the same thing. The people voted on what was on that ballot. Maybe it could have been done better, and maybe people should have voted against it. And you know what? I don't love it myself, but the people voted for it.
Yep. And so what, next year is 26. So it'll be what, 4 or 6 years later, they decide to change the mind and say, we have to readjust this. It's time to alter it because it's not, we don't think you did it the right way.
Yeah. We don't think you did it the right way. That is showing that they are not listening. And there was a lot of, or it was basically half and half of the local legislators that voted for it and against the term limits. You'll find that the ones that were there for the longer time voted for it. Whoa. Because that was the whole point of term limits, that people were sick of that. And that's a whole nother discussion that you can have about the effect and whether or not you're taking away the voice of the people and all that. And I definitely feel like there's multiple sides to this argument. But clearly the people said something and they're going and they're trying to change it.
Yeah.
And their response to it, and this was not a Minot legislator that said this, but one of them was, I don't think people fully understand what goes on down here in Bismarck. It was saying that you guys don't understand how Bismarck works. That was not a Minot legislator that said that. It's like, that's crazy.
Interesting.
That is a tone-deaf statement.
Isn't that supposed to be the citizen legislature?
It's supposed to be. And I understand what their point of what they're saying is that Bismarck, there's way more intricacies to this and all this stuff, but it is crazy. So then they go with this property tax and this 3% deal. This 3%, 3% makes no sense. 3% is like right around or lower than the cost of inflation. It's right around or lower than most of annual raises. So the cost of goods are going to be more expensive for roads, and you can't continue to pay people the same you are, but we're going to put that 3% cap on you.
Because they say that government we have to restrict how much our government is spending. So do it at the state.
Our budget
went up $10 billion in less than 20 years.
Right. And you go and you get into a conversation of the classic conversation. Well, North Dakota's budget is almost twice that of South Dakota. And the response to that is, well, we offer more services than South Dakota.
So you want the cities to have to cut their services, but anything the state services do, you want to keep going.
And you said I was going to be the one that got fired up about this.
Here we go.
This is true, Miranda. I think if more legislators served at local levels prior to serving in Bismarck, they would have a better understanding of how the poly-sub-municipal budget works. It's true. You have these budgets that consist so much of people. That being said, there are certain budgets, and I haven't looked at every budget throughout North Dakota, right? I'm sure there's certain budgets that are quite, just use the word fact, that's typically what's common. There's a lot of areas in this that could be cut. Yeah. I'm sure there are certain budgets. My opinion, and this is a revisionist history, especially as we see this going in, go and set a cap at like 6-7%, something way high. See how many cities that affects, and have a scale down effect of every year we're going to plan on reducing it by 2% until we find the right amount, or 1.5% until we find the right amount. Okay, that's great. Now you have people that can begin to cut things, but instead you say we're going to go 3%. You may not even be able to pay your employees. So you're definitely going to have to cut services. which definitely means you're going to have to cut jobs.
Because, and that's the flip side thing too, or not the flip side, that's an alternative point of it too, because now you're looking, if you don't want to cut the services and you want to keep these programs in place, you're going to have to stop giving people raises. You're going to have to stop giving good benefits out.
Right.
So how are you going to attract new good employees? Do you not want competent people to work for those departments?
You absolutely do. Here's another clip from the Ward County Commission. This one's going to be potentially a little bit out of place because we kind of got into a good old rant there. But this just kind of shows the impact of the 3% cap. Yeah, right there at the end of that clip, you begin to see the hard reality of what's being faced by a local municipality. They don't want to do it. They want to protect their workers. They want to protect the jobs that they have. They have no interest in cutting jobs. No. And this isn't like I've already mentioned, this isn't a very relatively lean budget.
Yeah, that doesn't continually keep reserves in pace. They don't, like you could argue to an extent, it might have even been a little too conservative over the last few years.
We did argue of that before. We said, I don't know, maybe we should get a little more reserves here. It seems quite tight.
But yet the state can allow the Commerce Department to put out advertisements. Oh yeah, I'm doing it now. I wasn't going to care, but now here we are. Yes. So the Commerce Department is trying to hire a new person, a program specialist. And here's the description. This role offers the opportunity to make a meaningful impact on North Dakota communities by improving energy efficiency and household well-being for low-income populations. You will be part of a collaborative and mission-driven team with the North Dakota Department of Commerce and the Division of Community Services.
Wow.
There you go. You look at numbers.
So go ahead. With things, Miranda Schuler, when things like health insurance increased by 8%, food contracts for inmates increased by 15%, property insurance increases by 8-ish%. We had to stay below 3%. It's not just quite challenging. It is impossible. It's impossible. And the funny thing about, and I go back to Measure 4, again, I'm not here trying to say that I'm just this proponent of Measure 4. But the interesting thing about Measure 4 that was said by the state was by the people that were against it, maybe not the state, but people that were against it were, where do we find the money to pay for this? And so one solution was go look in the legacy fund. I've got a solution. You have a $20 billion budget. And
you want to hire a program specialist for the Commerce Department to look at energy improvement needs.
The fiscal effect of Measure 4 is like $3 billion.
Yeah.
It's 15% of your $20 billion budget. There's something you should have been able to cut in order to be able to afford to pay for that if you're willing to go put a 3% cap on the local municipalities.
But now we're going to give out $600,000 in grant money to a single filmmaking company.
Exactly. Crazy.
It's a trip.
When they're facing, the local municipalities are facing dramatic increases.
When was the last time the state cut the budget?
They're not sure quite.
It's been a hot minute at this point. I don't know if it was decreased in any of Burgum's years as the governor.
Marissa, I am sorry about those videos. We'll see if there's something more we can do on our end. We do have a couple more to play, but yes, Kyler, the state they spend money on a lot of things that don't seem to bring great impact to the majority of North Dakota. And now they have made and I understand right now municipalities are like, all right, we got to figure this out for the next 2 years. And then hopefully at the next session, we can get this figured out. I tell you what,
we got to have it.
If you live in North Dakota and you call up your legislator, please call them up. Tell them that your local this is truth. This is not a lie. This is not something just to try to catch the attention. I mean, if you live in Ward County, call them up. Tell them that your local municipality is having to consider to cut services because the state put a cap on them and it did not provide funding in another way to keep those services going. That's crazy. That's scary and that's sad.
No, I agree. And so they're going to, your big argument's going to say that we can't allow government to keep growing their budgets. When's the state going to stop?
They do not stop. They have put, they
How about the legislators cut their own budget?
Right.
How about they stop paying themselves however many hundreds of dollars in per diem a day?
Kyler, you said you weren't going to get fired up.
Oh, here we go.
Clip number 5.
I wasn't.
It's not looking at an overall increase for the school investments in the
point to that is that's not even 3%. I don't know what that percentage is. But the value of the mill when it grows, it's some of it's new, like we today discovered. Some of it's already in inflation. This 3% isn't even
it's terrible.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking at that, right? We can't even continue status quo. Kind of like services that are increasing at the rate of inflation. There's no way to keep up with that. It's not 3% increase. We're not going down. And we've already cut these from the year ago.
And so, Manager was mentioning there's a mathematical way around it. There is, you can play with the numbers, and it's something where I'm not against it, where whatever. But ultimately, if the state is being true that they're wanting to get this to a 3%, they're going to cut loopholes eventually.
Oh yeah, we're going to get a nice opinion from the Attorney General on why you can't do that. I can see it coming on.
Kyler is fired up.
Come at me. I got nothing to lose.
Here's the deal. The state will say that there's overspending that's going on in the local municipalities. May not be wrong. Again, that's what I've said this whole time. They may not be wrong, but at least show some leadership.
Yeah.
And start at the state level.
Yeah.
But the state can spend as much money as they want, can bloat their budget as high as they want, and then they go and they crush the local municipality. Mm-hmm. The state, if they are truly intent on this 3% cap, and this is something that's going to go, they are interested in taking away the local control from these communities And that brings us to our last clip, which is, to me, one of the most powerful. It's the shortest one, but it's one of the most powerful clips from that whole Ward County Commission on this topic. There you have it.
Me too. I think it's bad.
I think
too.
this is bad, and the state is taking over. It is to the point where the state's like, "We'll grow your budget if we'll grow our budget if we feel like your need is important." You would have, again, I've said it the whole time I've been on this rant. Not a fan of how Measure 4 was going to come. I'm not. Let me rephrase that. I'm not saying Measure 4 was the way that it should happen, but the Measure 4 kept more local control.
And there was
than the state has allowed right now.
Completely. And with that, there was the expectation that you would have a raise in either sales tax or some kind of special assessment.
Right.
People might not like it, but it was an expectation that was going to happen with that.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to live with that. We do not live in an anarcho-capitalist society where the rich overlords are going to build our roads for us and we pay a toll to them.
What the state did is said, we will give a little tiny Band-Aid. Like there's a leak. There's a water main leak.
We'll throw a patch of duct tape over it.
We'll throw a patch of duct tape on it, but you still have to fix the leak.
Yeah. Still on you.
But
here's some duct tape. See what happens.
Yeah. But you don't get to use any of your equipment.
No. Here is duct tape. Fix it.
Here's duct tape. Fix it. We'll apply the first piece for you.
And then we'll leave the rest for you.
And we won't even leave you the duct tape. You have to go find a way to find the duct tape too.
Pretty much.
You can't afford that.
No, dude. And here we are with the state.
It's a terrible analogy, but you know what?
Yeah, we
worked with it.
We winged it. But I don't know, man. I don't know how this is going to play out for the future years.
No, you can't. Ward County, like kudos to them. They're kind of in this catch-22. They don't have their full numbers back for some of their health insurance and stuff like that. They have a presentation that they're going to be seeing on that. I believe it's later this month. It might be September. But they're going to be having that, and those will be final numbers that they get, so then they can actually determine if they need to cut a service or what has to happen. And only a 3% increase in duct tape.
And exactly, yeah. And so here's the fun thing: everyone talks about how we need to lower our taxes, and we're paying too much in taxes. I'm not disagreeing with that fact.
Yeah, that's not the point.
You want to actually lower your taxes? Go elect a federal representative that is actually going to be fiscally conservative and lower the federal budget and stop taxing you to death at the federal level. Our state income tax is at like 1%.
Kyler is now
Well, we've got him in there for decades.
Kyler's now a coach at Surrey Junior
come
High,
yell at me.
and
I'm ready.
so he feels like he can go anywhere now.
Again, exactly. That's the point. I'm 27. I'm a LMT. I got a Toyota Corolla, and I'm a coach at a school. What do I got to lose for saying this, John?
Yeah, exactly.
If you disagree with me, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should agree with me.
No, that's fine.
But if you're looking at this stuff objectively, in a practical manner, how are you going to continue to have these services? Who's going to pay for all the roads to be fixed? Who's going to pay for the cops and the police? And who's going to pay for the people to do the administration work that's necessary to be there?
Yeah. Well, evidently the state feels like they might
Or
chip in.
The state will subsidize everything through the legacy fund till that's gone. Then we'll figure it out.
No, they don't want to use the legacy fund for it.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. That's not the goal, but I don't know. It's becoming a worn out subject that never stops at this point.
Well, and you guys talked about this at the county commission, Miranda. The average citizen, we should have just had you on. Homeowner will see a substantial reduction in their tax bill and be happy if they don't understand or pay attention to what is happening. Right, they'll be happy, but when a service gets cut, and obviously the first service that gets cut is not going to affect everybody. But if we continue down this road, eventually we're going to hit services. They're going to be showing up. The roads are terrible.
The roads already suck, in our opinion. So guess what?
Right. Yeah. But what I'm saying is it's going to get worse. And the taxing municipalities or taxing authorities are going to be like, I'm sorry. We're putting as much money as we can into roads. The state won't let us put more money into roads. And it's going to be,
But hey, the state can say that they came in and they made that your city not raise their property taxes.
Yeah. Good for them.
Cut the extra 1% out of the state income tax. Do that at this point.
We're not talking, and again, because there'll be people this is such a controversial subject. We're not talking about the budgets that have stuff that needs to be cut out of them.
No.
The city budget still, I mean, they already took some away last year, and there's still more work that can be done at the city budget.
100%.
We're talking about a budget that, we didn't go through it line by line, so perhaps there's a couple more things that could be cleared out of it. But I mean, there's people that have been pretty fiscally conservative on the budget, that are saying that they're in a bind at the county level.
Yeah, and now we're sitting here having to deal with it. The true ramifications are coming to face. And guess what? These people that your state legislators are, if they're going to let this happen again in 2027, they don't care about you.
Yeah,
they don't care about what
I know
actually
that
affects you on a day-to-day level.
It's a strong take. I said it too. Okay, it's a strong take. But what we're saying,
they seemingly don't. How about that?
Yeah, like it feels like if you're going to go and do this, that there's a disconnect, and it's not just the fact that there's a cap that goes on, because like I said, if this was something that came at the state level and said, hey, we're going to decrease our budget by $1 billion, and we're going to put caps because North Dakota has gone too far, has gone too crazy with the spending, then there would be an example that would be followed. Exactly. And it'd be like, all right, don't love this. Actually, still hate this.
Why isn't there a 3% cap on the state's annual budgetary increase? And
when they were asked about that, Kelly Armstrong himself said we can't do that. Then we can't go and provide whatever to that town. And it's like, that's the whole point. The county can't provide services to all the different towns that it helps.
I think you made this analogy before we were on. Imagine if the feds came in and said every state in the union cannot exceed their prior year's budget by more than 3%.
DC would be stormed.
Yeah. Do you imagine that? Okay. Or how about this? Imagine Trump's not president and someone else did it. Then what happens?
Yeah. DC would.
It burns.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the state
either
can do that
way,
to the
I think either way that it's going to be.
But I don't know if it would.
No, I don't know.
Let's be honest.
I think there would be still a group of people that would storm DC.
Fair. I hope.
It's just, I don't know. Right.
We were on one today, folks. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's the service that's talking about being cut. Miranda Schuler, there's been a lot of talk about closing the juvenile detention center. 1 of 3 in the state. Expensive service that serves the most vulnerable in our state. And that's the problem with it is it's not just that it's going to be shut. Ward County, it's 1 of 3. There's very few. Then there still has to be a place for these people to go, which means it's going to stress another budget.
Yeah. Someone else is going to be affected.
If we have to look at closing that, eventually somebody else is probably going to have to look at
closing that. Guess what the argument's going to be then? State officials, the elected officials don't care about the kids. You're not taking care of the most vulnerable part of your population. Is that not the future? They've been saying this for as long as I've been alive, that they want to protect our future. They don't want us to be saddled with debt for years. Well, guess what? We're grown up now. Here we are.
Zach Rack, I think we have taken our services for granted. 2 to 3 days to dig out of a huge blizzard may become 3 to 6 days of pack down.
Yeah.
Water mains may stay down longer, road skillers. If we continue with the 3% cap, that's what we'll have. That, like, something along those lines is going to happen.
What? Maybe people want that.
No, I don't know. We've hammered this hard.
We went at this for a minute.
The fact of the matter is, and hopefully they'll still come on because there's legislators that we want to have on to talk about this and that we've talked to. And
it's been a few months since we went on.
It's just the part that's frustrating is that the 3% cap. That part's a joke.
It's such an arbitrary number.
It's not just that it's arbitrary number. It's that it's below every
inflationary standard. Even.
Yeah, it's an impossible number.
So how you have to then start restricting the businesses from not raising their prices. You're going to have to start price capping private industries, so they don't raise their service prices for the government contracts.
Yeah,
that's not capitalism.
I mean, yeah, that's
a stretch.
That's
a stretch.
Long trickle down effect there. The deal with 3% is even if you're looking. I just go back to what I said earlier. If you're looking at making change in a budget, and you feel like that you should be able to keep it under 3%, there's so much work that would have to be done to get to that place. Because like you have your pay raises that are they're already set. Like it's a city deal. It's not a deal where you're giving, oh yeah, you worked extra hard this year, I'll give you a 75-cent pay raise instead of just the normal 50 cent. That's not how this works here. It is all step systems. It is very, very much institutionalized on how it all works. It would take so long to go and change those things to make it where everything was under the 3%. And then you get to the question, can you even retain people?
Yeah. Who's going to want to work there when you're never getting an increase in your wage?
And that's the thing. And that's just keeping things status quo. That's just that's not even working on growth at all. And perhaps they've already grown enough and there's some stuff that needs to be cut, but it just is not a very well thought out plan. We've said it all along. Now we're starting to see the effects of it, and it's still bad.
And we're a couple of dudes in a room.
Blue room.
Yeah.
The deal is there's 2 years that this is going to be suffered through, and probably a lot of the tough work is going to be done this year, although it will still be faced next year because raises will still happen. There'll still be increasing costs. And after that, then the session will be back in place, and perhaps there'll be an increase.
But hey, Governor Armstrong can say he reformed property taxes.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot that we've had to say there on a very stressful topic.
Thank you everyone for watching, commenting. Miranda, we're going to have you on about this one at some point, I think, here.
Yeah, we'll be, like I said, we want to have legislators on. We'll want to have people in the local municipalities to talk about how it's affecting them and whatever. And I think it's I think we said this all along. The people that are going to be the most affected by this are not the Fargos that have the large budgets. They're going to be affected. They will be affected by it. But it's the smaller ones where the 3% increase does nothing.
It's not even like Minot's not even going to be the most affected by it.
Yeah.
Imagine those small towns.
Well, and Ward County is affected by it because they got 80K plus residents, and their mill levy. I mean, they asked for like 20. This is a long range, but it's like 23 to 26 million is what they asked for. It's not a lot of money for all that coverage.
Because so much of what has to be covered in that place, guess what? It's covered by the municipalities within the county. And then the county has to cover everything in between.
Right. And it's like you just look at, there's 3 areas I have the budget here, their budget. 3 areas, I think the Indy State Fair, something that they could look at. There's the Search River Joint Board, something that they could look at, I believe.
Oh, wouldn't the state love that? Wouldn't Bismarck love to take the state fair away from Minot?
Yeah, they would. They would. And there's another. It's just sad. But all right, we've talked about that enough. Thank you all for tuning in today. Yeah, we'll be back Tuesday. 9 a.m. Have no idea what we're talking about. We'll have good stuff then. But at this point, I think my brain's just fried because if I go further, I'm gonna get as upset as Kyler.
I'm gonna be red as me in my shirt here.
Yeah, at least you're not as colorful as my shirt was on Tuesday.
That was a beautiful shirt. It was fabulous.
That was awful. All right, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everybody that commented, chimed in on this one. It's a big topic that definitely needs to grab some more attention throughout the state because this is going to have a huge impact. So, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Become part of the Dakotan community. We're going to be launching the newsroom here soon. We haven't been pushing it enough. We need to push it more.
Yeah. Probably started with that even.
Probably should have, but yeah, we have that coming out. We'll have more information on that on Tuesday. Thanks for watching this episode. Have a great day.